So when it comes to gaming monitors, we're all about speed, we're all about clarity, we're all about response times, and we're all about frames per second, and most importantly, value for money. Of course, price is always a determining factor when it comes to gaming monitors. In my opinion, I don't actually see a point of going in depth when it comes to color quality for gaming monitors. Unless you're a professional user, then you wouldn't actually want to purchase a gaming monitor, because obviously gaming monitors, their forte is obviously not color, so you got to get professional studio grade monitors. Well, that's beside the point. Now when it comes to 1080p gaming, it has slowly reached the point where it's about to phase out, or it is actually phasing out, and you have 1440p monitors today that can also kick out 144 frames per second or 144 hertz, and that's the amount of frequency up to 165 and beyond. So what are the monitors that you can actually consider when it comes to 1440p gaming with 144 frames per second, or it's capable of kicking out 144 frames per second? So presenting the Viewsonic XG2703 GS. Well, GS is a pretty good giveaway. It simply means G-Sync. So basically it sort of eliminates any form of screen tearing, which I probably will get a bit into slightly later. But so let's just get the specs out of the way first, and we can talk about the rest later. So when it comes to specs, the XG2703 comes out of the box with a native resolution of 2560 by 1440. Well, the ports are downwards facing and also include two USB 3.0 ports, including upstream, a DC power input obviously, a DisplayPort version 1.2a, which you would actually need to support NVIDIA's G-Sync, a HDMI 1.4, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, for you to be able to fully utilize the whole G-Sync capabilities, you actually need a DisplayPort, which is version 1.2 if I'm not mistaken, and you also have the ability to actually overclock the monitor up to 165 Hz, or you probably can get about 165 frames per second, depending as well on your graphics card or your GPU. What if you were to use a HDMI cable? Can you still get 2560 by 1440 in terms of resolution? Yes, you can, but you're not able to actually get more than 60 frames per second or 60 Hz in terms of frequency, simply because HDMI doesn't actually support it. Now, the monitor does also come with a pretty damn good looking screen, which is obviously the IPS screen, but at a slight expense of response time, which is about 4 milliseconds, which is still nothing compared to a TN panel. So you get a bit of a trade-off, but you get much better looking visuals or images on your monitor. So for those of you who are actually not familiar with G-Sync, it's actually pretty identical or similar to AMD FreeSync, but it's a feature by NVIDIA that sort of enables or prevents screen tearing, minimizes stutter, prevents ghosting, but they're only applicable if you were to use an NVIDIA GPU. So all that little rambling aside about all its technicalities and all its different types of panels and G-Sync and stuff like that, let's take a look at this whole aesthetic-wise of this particular monitor. So just a quick glimpse at the monitor, you'll notice some greenish XG emblems and trimmings, which in my opinion makes the association with NVIDIA G-Sync a pretty, I would say, an easy giveaway. What you actually get as well with this monitor, which is pretty common with most gaming monitors today, it's a headphone hook. Now, what I really like about this particular hook is that it's much better than the previous Viewsonic video that I actually did, this particular monitor that I actually reviewed. It's much more solid, it looks much nicer too, it comes with a nice padding and stuff like that. And the good part about headphone hooks is that it sort of makes your table, I would say, tidier, neater, so you don't have to have your little gaming headphones lying around unless you game on a speaker, so that's a whole different story. So given the fact that I'm actually a Rainbow Six player, I play Rainbow Six like nearly every freaking day for at least an hour. And you know what, I had to try Rainbow Six out with this particular monitor, because in my opinion, if it really does well in Rainbow Six, it probably do well in any other games, because Rainbow Six, when it comes to smoothness and stuff like that, it's really important, especially for multiplayer and stuff like that. So what I actually did was, I tried a couple of rounds of Rainbow Six Terrorist Hunt specifically, because I never actually had the time. Damn, I don't even have much time to play games these days other than Rainbow Six, like an hour a day, or sometimes I don't even play it. But that's besides the point, so I tried Rainbow Six on my particular setup. Now, if you're wondering what my test bench is, it's actually a 6700K processor with a Zotac 1080 Ti Amp Extreme. Now, it's an Amp edition for this particular video. And I'm going to do a review of that particular GPU really soon, so I hope you guys stay tuned for that. It's a pretty damn good GPU. Everyone knows how good the 1080 Ti is, so no two ways about that. So very little or absolutely no frame stutter. There's no such thing as tearing. With the whole G-Sync enabled, gameplay was really smooth when it comes to Rainbow Six. I was pretty happy with it though. Now, if I never had this particular monitor behind, which I'm pretty grateful that I have it, because I think it's probably the best thing I ever have in this particular room right now, which is the 27-inch 144Hz monitor from another brand. But I'm not saying that the Viewsonic is a bad brand either. Now, if I never had this particular monitor, I would have considered that other monitor, which is the Viewsonic XG series. A quick note though, when it comes to the whole OSD, it's actually controlled by a pressable button at the rear of the monitor, and it sort of runs like vertically on the right side if you view it from the front. Now there's also this whole green painted button labels at the front, and what sort of weirded me out is the fact that they should have just made it touch sensitive so it looks kind of more premium and stuff like that. And if you could have done like a more of a joystick setup, which I'm not actually complaining, when this monitor right behind here with the Predator doesn't actually have a joystick feature, and I'm pretty okay with it. I'm just being like really anal or really like nitpicking this whole monitor. But if the buttons were touch sensitive, that would be much more awesome. When it comes to color tests, you see, these are gaming monitors, and I'm not a fan of doing color tests because number one, it's boring as hell, and number two, if you want more information, I'm just going to leave some links for more reputable sites with better color calibration or color testing tools for you to check it out. And if you want more information, you can actually go to their site and stuff like that. But if you really want me to do a review in terms of color reproduction or color quality on gaming monitors, which is kind of weird because if you were to buy a gaming monitor, you wouldn't actually want to have super awesome colors. To me, IPS is great, more than good enough. Now, if you want really good colors, you should get a professional series monitor or a 4K editing monitor, not a gaming monitor, because gaming monitors are meant for gaming and they are okay when it comes to color reproduction. Some of them are really warm, some of them are a little bit cooler, but you can sort of adjust them by your OSD. Now, the only thing I guess when it comes to my concern for gaming monitors are blue light. So if you have a blue light filter, then you're pretty much okay. So this particular monitor retails at 3,299 ringgit via eTech PC. And of course, a big shout out to them for making this happen, and also Viewsonic Malaysia for willing to send over this particular monitor and for this particular review as well. And if you're really considering to get this particular monitor, it is apparently, or if I'm not mistaken, it is actually one of the cheapest monitor or the most affordable monitor compared to all its other competitors out there today. So it's something you should really consider. Anyway, give me a big thumbs up if you like this video, and of course, hit the subscribe button if you have not. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments section below. More information, I'll leave them in the description section below as well. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.